Right. Shalom, shalom. Before we begin, we give all praise and honor and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem, Rakadash. This is Akim Brazil. And we out here as our Lord and Savior commanded us to do, man. We just gonna bring it out.
Talk out there, you know, what's going on in the world, you know, current events, basically. You know, Trump is causing a lot of chaos, not only in America, but all over the earth. And there was an article that was out. He said that I rule America and the world. You know, so what scripture come to mind is second Ezra chapter 6, verse 9, which reads, Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follows. You know, so even the so-called white man is letting you know that he runs the world. You know, because he's the one that's bringing a lot of chaos, turbulence, disturbance in global trade, for example, and global. He got the say so in global events. He got the last say so in global events. So letting you know that he runs the world. And Esau is the self-proclaimed white race, the Edomites. They are the self-proclaimed white race according to the Bible. You know, they're not white. They're not Caucasian. Caucasian means cave dweller. You know, they're not Europeans or any other name that they go by. You know, that's why Esau did. He tried to hide himself. He colonized the world and put a covering cast on all the nations, even himself, so he can be hidden, basically. You know. So I'm gonna try to get that article. Trump said that he's runs America and yeah, this is an article from The Atlantic, TheAtlantic.com. And the title of it says, I run the country and the world. So, you know, the self-proclaimed white man, the nation of Edom, runs this world. Donald Trump came out and told people that he runs the world. You know, not only this country, but he runs the world itself. So I'm gonna just go and get that precept out again out of the Apocrypha, which is a part of the Bible that they took out. So more or less going to what I was just saying, to hide themselves. Because according to the Apocrypha, you know, it was evident who the wicked was and who these Edomites was. So to hide themselves, they had to take out the Apocrypha, certain books out of the Apocrypha. That was what they did. So I'm gonna get this out of Second Ezra.
I got a precept. This is the book of Job 9:24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. So that right there, just like the Lord Rock said, it's self-evident that these precepts say this book, say these instructions are real. This book is a living entity. That, you know, biblical times already came and passed. This Bible is not relevant to the days of current events, man. The Lord is what? Pretty much putting people to shame, man. He's going to furthermore put you to shame when he unleashed his plagues, man. Jacob's trouble was one of them. Go ahead,
Second Ezra. I'm gonna read Second Ezra, chapter 6 and chapter 6 and verse 9. Out the Apocrypha again. This is Second Ezra, chapter 6, verse 9. It says, "For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follows." So that lets you know that the world,
I don't know what you're working
that
on.
the world is ran by the so-called white man, which is Esau.
That one mistake there that MTV yesterday. Yeah, somebody didn't pay for ice cream.
So the world is ran by Esau, Edom, which is the Edomites. I mean, which is the self-proclaimed white race. They run the world. You know? So that's the reason why they took the Apocrypha out, because it was showing who they were in the Bible. You know.
Yeah. It's a nation of people that runs the world currently. The Lord ordained these wicked. The Lord ordained the wicked to pretty much cover or take hold, take seeds of the earth, man. And that's what's going on. That's why you see a lot of this wickedness prevailing, man. You know, throughout, not only here in Babylon the Great, throughout the world also. For the Lord allowed the wicked to what? Rule, man. This is the wickedest portion of rule. This is the wickedest time to rule. Which is Esau Edom. And he, what? Donald Trump ordered that. Donald Trump pretty much solidifies, you know, the evidence, man. He's telling you, even though him himself literally is not, there are links amongst Esau Edom, those families that run the monetary banking system, the global banking system. They run the world. You know.
Like I said, Donald Trump came out and told you that he runs this country, not only this country, but the world itself. You know, Donald Trump runs the world, and Esau is the ruler of the world. The Lord gave him that blessing. The Lord gave him that blessing in Genesis, the 27th chapter. You know, the Lord gave him that blessing, man. You know. So Esau blessing was to rule at a certain point in time. And after his rulership, the nation of Israel will be ruled. So you talk to your boy yet? I got a couple precepts out. Probably get to basically describing who the nation of Israel, who they look like. You know? They were a nation of color. They were what they call color today. A nation of dark-skinned people. You know, they wasn't who they trying to portray the people in the Bible that you see this Caesar Bozier, you know, or anybody else that they depict in the Bible. They depict it in the Bible as a so-called white person. The scripture also says that in the book of
yeah, with the tone of leprosy, man, that's a curse.
With the book of Maccabees, chapter 1, I think it's second Maccabees. No, first Maccabees. It tells you. It says,
he cried like a rock star. You know what I'm saying? That's all. Don't bother me about nothing.
like I said, that's how they that's how they get themselves who they were in the Bible. They took out books from the what they called it apocrypha. They took those books out. They took those books out and they took those books out to basically hide themselves, man, as it says in Obadiah, Jeremiah 49.
Esau eating supper playing white man or white man. There's elites that run the world, man. You know, so him stating that in that article is true to the fact, but him himself is not running the world, man. He's nothing more than a puppet. He's nothing more than a puppet, like all these presidents before him, you know. And Lord willing, we don't have too many more after this one. So there's an elite amongst Esau that's ruler. It's in the rulership. It's like the rulership seat right now. And that's the wicked, man. Job 9:24 again. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he, man? If not, where and who is he, man?
Where is he according to what's written in the Bible? He's the wicked. You know, if he's not the wicked, meaning the so-called white man, who and where is he in the Bible? I got another precept. This is first Maccabees 3, verse 48. It says, they laid open the book of the law, wherein the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their images, right? You know, where the heathen want to paint the likeness of their images, right? You know. You know, so that's what these devils did, you know. So that's the reason why they took the Apocrypha out. Just talking about the Bible destruction group, which started with the Protestants. They're breaking away from the Catholic religion. So even in the Catholic Bible has the Apocrypha in it. You know, but Protestants, which goes back to the word protest, which that's a lot of that's going on today. They protested against what was being taught in the Catholic Church, and they came over to the Americas with the Protestant doctrine, which is a man-made doctrine. And they took out the Apocrypha, some of the books of the Old Testament. That's where they came from, the Old Testament. They took them out to basically hide who they were. You know, these Edomites. You know. So they laid over the book of the law, which is the Bible. They whitewashed the images, iconoclasm. You know, that's what they did. You know, to hide themselves. But according to the Bible, said Esau no longer be able to hide himself. You know, so that's why this devil is trying to do, even to this day. That's why he's trying to take away some funding from certain colleges, like the Smithsonian, for example, the so-called black, quote-unquote, black history section. This devil is trying to hide what he's been doing to the nation of Israel. You know, he's trying to hide it. He's trying to defund it. He's want to call it improper ideology. critical race theory, in order to hide the shame of this devil, you know. So he got shameful spewing is upon his glory. So he's trying to hide these these because he's doing that right now. Get acts against humanity, so to speak. These acts against humanity. He's trying to do away with these acts against humanity
and their civil liberties, to say the least.
He's trying to hide himself by taking funding away from what is known, what is discovered to be true, which wasn't really taught in secular history. American secular history, for that matter, is not taught. So it's not of the norm according to white supremacy. So if it's not anything that he's put in the curriculum to circulate, which he perpetrate a lot of lies. That's what Esau does. He perpetrate a lot of lies. Scripture says, "Woe to the bloody city, which is America, is full of lies and robbery." So this place is full of lies. So this devil, he's trying to hide the atrocities against humanity, which basically what he did to the children of Israel, to hide himself. So I'm gonna go and get that piece of
by pretty much shrugging it off as a conspiracy theory or as a critical race theory. That was all in theory. That actually never happened. So that's what the Ark is pretty much missing. He's trying to continue to hide his atrocities, especially like the Ark pointed out to the children of Israel by stating that the things that happened to us as a nation of people, that was all, a theory. That's something that this theory never proven. But there's plenty of facts that prove what they're saying. Actually, what they're trying to say isn't actually did happen. Why you can pass by these plantations? Right now, I pass by plenty of plantations, Shirley Plantation, etc. Here in Richmond, Virginia. So you're trying to say slavery? If they were standing, that's pretty much what they try to say. There's no facts that happened. Where's the plantations? So they left those really in the boasting, the brag. Actually, what a civil-minded person would have came up with is that those places should have been demolished, but the Lord allowed this devil to keep those places like plantations, some of them still up for you to see, so you can understand what you went through. You know what I'm saying? Who you are as a people. More or less the curses, man. But I'm done.
Yeah, the piece of it's in Jeremiah 49 and 10. It says, "But I have made Esau bare," meaning what? His secrets, these atrocities that he did to the so-called black Latinos and Native Americans. His corruption that he's going on in the government. The Lord made these devils there. Lord made these devils there. So that's what it's talking about. His skirt has been lifted, man. His shame has been discovered, man. know. So that's what this devil is trying to do. He's trying to hide his atrocities, you know, by saying something is false. You know, one of their favorite terms is misinformation, disinformation. You know, so we come up with all these different terms, but basically he's trying to hide his atrocities. You know, his perpetrate that he perpetrated throughout the whole earth. This is Jeremiah 49:10. It says, "But I have made Esau bare; I have uncovered his secret places. He shall not be able to hide himself." Right? I have uncovered his secret places. He shall not be able to hide himself. So we understand that these Edomites, who is the wicked, according to Malachi 1:4, you know, he's not going to be able to hide himself. We know this, who the wicked is, according to the Bible, is Esau. And just like we read out of Job 9:24, if he's not the wicked, which is the self-proclaimed white man, look at his track record. Like I said, that's why he's trying to hide himself. You know, if he's not the wicked, then who is the wicked? You know, because according to the deeds of the self-proclaimed white man, he's done a lot of wickedness throughout the whole earth, not only to the children of Israel, but according to these all these other nations, man. You know, he's done a lot of atrocities that he's doing even to this day. You know, and it all goes back to the wicked, which is these Edomites, man. So the Lord made this double bear, and he's trying to hide himself, but he can no longer hide himself, man. He's been exposed, which is a revelation. In Second Thessalonians chapter 2, Apostle John said that the wicked shall be revealed in his time. So this devil is being revealed, and he can't hide himself, you know. They got these witches and warlocks doing what they do, man. You know, witches and warlocks trying to wait till things blow over, you know. Witches and warlocks trying to wait till things blow over, trying to ride witchcraft and sorcery. Sit here idly quiet, you know, like it's some damn quiet small town where they got these fucking Edomites. They know everything was going on.
Yeah,
which in a nutshell, that's how Esau runs the world anyway.
Yeah, I got time. I got everything on my hands. Look at my complexion. I got all the time. I ain't really got to work hard. I can sit around, shoot steroids up my ass, and walk around like I'm somebody.
Yeah.
I got all the time and resources in the world. They try to walk around and flunk like you somebody. Get out of here, man. Joke is a joke, man. You know, there ain't nobody impressed by these simple ass bras around here. You know what I'm saying? They simple ass because they know they gotta suck cock just to keep a living now. You know what I'm saying? That's how they doing their jobs with Esau Edom, self-proclaimed white man. He hired these females and secretaries to go around trick off on them to keep their job. Hospitals and all, everybody know it. You know what I'm saying? They act like it's a secret. Like I said, I got all the time in the world. My father done stole, robbed, great grandmother stole, robbed everything. And I can sit around here and think I'm somebody popping steroids in my ass, walking around trying to flunk. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because they run this is their fucking world.
They think that I'm jealous because these jokers around here trying to do what with you. They trying to tarnish your image while these lames trying to mimic you. You know what I'm saying?
Crackheads getting encouraged and left alone to imitate real men, basically.
Exactly.
You know, they encourage these pussies and homos and weirdos and lames. They encourage them, but the real men that's doing it, they try to discourage. They try to tarnish. They try to, manipulate and all type of shit, man. Come against you at every damn fucking angle that they can.
Yeah, that's how these white pale-faced monkeys. That's what they're doing. Just like the ox said, they helping civilize these dope addicts, drug addicts, weirdos. Let them live in their communities. They welcome them in. But real individuals, they trying to shun, especially real black men. They trying to shun, trying to make you a problem, trying to orchestrate fuckery and folly, man. You know, I'm living proof of it.
Yeah, because what these damn Greeks are, they getting gave whatever they have. Basically, the so-called self-proclaimed white man is giving it to them. Whatever success that they got, these coon ass niggas, these niggas know, these damn Edomites know that these niggas ain't shit. So whatever they giving them, they know you got it from me. Like you pointed out before, you even said it. You've been said this, but this actor, I forgot the nigga name that played Captain America. You know, he says success is not earned, it's given, something like that, something to that effect. You know, even I got an article here at Yahoo Sports News or sports.yahoo.com or yahoo.com. This I think he was the San Antonio coach for a certain time when Tim Duncan was there. I know, but it says Greg Popovich, you know, the NBA truth teller who held Trump and U.S. to account. So he's basically what he's saying is, I'm gonna read an article, I'm gonna find this section of this. I'm gonna read a paragraph. Um, let me see. It says, I'm gonna just start here. It says, whenever the stakes were highest culturally and politically, Popovich was the coach you could most count on, and not to stick to sports. During the NBA celebration of Black History Month in 2018, Popovich held forth on the subject of systematic racism and acknowledged his own white privilege. If you were born white, you automatically have a monstrous advantage educationally, economically, culturally in this society. He said it is a tough one. It is a tough one because people don't really want to face it, right? So that he's talking about systematic racism, white privilege, or white supremacy, man. So he said you got a monstrous advantage educationally, economically, and culturally in this society, me in America, basically the whole globe anyway, because just like we point out, Job 9:24, the earth was given into the hands of the wicked, you know. So these devils, you know, that's what they do. That's what they do, creep up. They the damn serpent, they sneak up behind you know, planning attacks. Like we ain't concerned with you fucking devils. You know, we know all about you. You know? Yeah, they sneaky, man. They set traps. You know, they set up traps. They got these coon, buffoon, destitute niggas up here. They trying to assist them, because that's what they is. They destitute punk niggas. And whatever power that they got, whatever they have, period, they got it from their oppressor, man. You know, they trying to act like it's a secret. You know, these devils, they lay in wait. We know who Esau is. He lay snares, he lay traps. These devils set shit up. He'll set you up. You know, you've been revealed. You're no longer hiding. And they you know, they kumbaya with these heathens, because you know it's the time of these heathens, and the devil himself is there. It's their time to rule. And all that's coming to an end.
Yeah, they got these lanes trying to come around just like
after the so-called white man destroy their land, bomb their whole city, kill their whole generational family, bomb their whole goddamn family, the pieces in their city. Now they come over here and like they got a love affair going on. They got a that bomb the shit out of their whole goddamn country and shit. They got a love affair now. Cause they let them sit around get government taxpayer money that they didn't put into, but the people that's here, they won't give you they won't give you any type of help, man. You know, if you need help, they looking at you like you're crazy. Or they give these foreigners that didn't put into this taxpayer money. You know, they didn't put anything towards it, and they getting all the funding, man. That's how this devil can, you know, everything is okay. You know, just like Popovich said, he said it's a tough one because people don't really want to face it, meaning they don't want to talk about it.
They don't want
to admit it.
Acknowledge the obvious, man. You know, like I said, they walk around like it's an evil even playing field when they don't cheated and rigged the game for them to win. You know what I'm saying? They walk around you acting like there's some comparison with you. I mean, get out of here. All you doing is lying to yourself. They got these coon ass niggas that you throwing pennies to going along with your fucking man. That's all you doing. Cause what, these damn lame niggas looking for a way out. I sit beside you. I live beside you. I work with you. Give me a supervisor job, cool niggas.
Yeah, cool. That's the two niggas, man. Hey, they gotta do anything. They gotta do anything. Get rich or die trying. You know, that's their mindset. These fuck niggas, man. Get rich or die trying, man. You know, they'll do anything. Lie, dope head boy. They got their dope head uncle coming around, trying to set you up, acting like you do what they do, but they in cahoots with this with their oppressor, man. You know, they got a what they call these damn informants, these criminal ass niggas turn snitch, you know. Now they criminal ass fuck niggas turn snitch, but they oppressors looking out for them. So they walk around this bitch like they ain't got no worries in the world. But you know why? My master is my power, you know.
Yeah, these ghetto informants.
You know, that's what they think. All that shit coming to an end. All that shit being exposed. All that shit these fuck niggas be doing. All that shit, that fuck shit Esau done. You know, it's been exposed, man. You know, this is time of revelation, meaning what? Things being revealed, man. You know, the wickedness of the so-called self-proclaimed white man. You know, these witches and warlocks, these niggas that try to set shit up. You know, these simple ass niggas, all these sitting around, they been idly quiet, acting like they gonna duck something. You know, what this devil was planning on, even like I just seen a video on it. This guy, Mike, Stephen Miller, which I spoke about him a couple times. I spoke about him in a couple times. Stephen Miller. Um, he's he's talking about doing away with the habeas corpus, man. Doing away with habeas corpus, right? So I'm probably gonna do a lesson on it. I was meaning to, but you know I didn't. This is from PBS.org, which he's defunding. I think he's defunding PBS too, or one of these news networks. He's trying to defund them too. I think it's PBS. But this is as Stephen Miller says, Trump administration is actively looking at suspending habeas corpus. So now we're going to understand what habeas corpus is, because you know, according to the Lord, you know, everything the man's goings is of the Lord. So there was a certain point of time I was reading up on law, because which is according to the Constitution, that's your right. You got a right to study law. You know, if you're competent, you can self-represent. You know, you have if you have the knowledge and know-how, you can go on these court systems and represent yourself if you have the knowledge. But these devils don't want to acknowledge that. You know, they don't play fair, because Esau is not going to play fair at all. You know, he's the wicked. That's when I came to realize that, according to when I came in this truth, was you know, because at certain point of time I was seeking truth, like I said, you have a right to study law. That's one of your rights. So you go in, study law as much as you can. Then habeas corpus is one of the things that I was studying, you know. So we're gonna get a little detail on this word habeas corpus, because that's where he says, Stephen Miller says, the Trump administration is seeking to suspend the habeas corpus due to them detaining these immigrants, right? So it says habeas corpus. It says habeas corpus is a legal principle and procedure that protects individuals from unlawful detention. So that's why. So you know, and I'm gonna continue to read on. It says it allows a person in custody to challenge the legality of their confinement and require authorities to produce the person before a court to determine if the detention is lawful. So that's why he's trying to do away with the habeas corpus so they can cover their tracks, man. So they act like these immigrants or illegal immigrants or whoever, even like they're putting out there, they're arresting U.S. citizens. So they don't have to honor your due process, which is going to go on and tell you. It says, essentially, it ensures that no one can be imprisoned without due process of law. So that's why this devil is trying to do away with the habeas corpus, because these illegal immigrants or U.S. citizens that he's determined to imprison, you don't have no due process, man. Basically, you don't have no rights. You know, he can arrest anyone he deemed according to how things are going, man. If he deemed you a threat, he labeled you this, he could just round you up and pick you up and just haul you off, man, to these FEMA camps, these detention centers. That's what's going to happen to a lot of you people, man. You know, so-called white man, pro-constitutionalists, you militia groups, you know, you Negroes around here think you got it figured out. All you immigrants, that's what he's going to do to you. You know, you damn simple ass black bitches. You think you got it figured out, you know? Yeah, that's what's going to happen to you, man. You know, this devil is going to come down, you know? So he's got the world in his hand, like I just read. Donald Trump himself said that he runs this country. He runs not just this country, but the world itself. You know. So you know this. They trying to do away with habeas corpus because that's your right to due process and be in front of a court and bring up, challenge the legality of why you're being in prison. So by them doing away with the habeas corpus, they don't have to show any legal proof of them detaining you and putting you in these detention centers, FEMA camps, prisons, or whatsoever, man.
Yeah, pretty much you have no remedy for the wrongdoing. A lot of you don't have anyway. And according, you know, I just looked something up. I said, you know, I Googled like how many federal and state laws they are, right? It says while there is no definitive number of federal laws, there are approximately 300,000 federal statutes plus regulations, guidance, and executive orders, man. So you would be, you know, in this corrupt system, you would be, if you are confident enough, looking into the law, because that's how these devils try to do. And they'll play you on your ignorance, man, or you didn't know, you know, because they even got a statute that said it's talking about ignorance of the law is no excuse, man. Because so if you didn't know something, you know, according to the law, they're gonna hold you accountable, even if you did know. And this devil got over 300,000 federal. That's just federal. They ain't talk about the state legislation and policies and statutes and codes and all this crap they got, man. You know, so I'm like, somebody that's competent, you would try to look up and find out something, because these devils, they will play on your ignorance, man. And like I said, there's a statute that says that ignorance of the law to an extent is no excuse, man. You know, oh, I didn't know that. These jokers still gonna come at you. You know.
I got a precept, Isaiah chapter 10, verse 1. It says, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed, man. So destruction, that woe is destruction and misery, man. You know, that's why the Lord is causing the devil, which he's using as his tool, the modern day Assyrian, is a self-proclaimed white man, the modern day oppressor, the Assyrian, the Egyptian, the modern day oppressor, because they was the oppressors of the nation of Israel. The the southern kingdom and the northern kingdom was basically both of them. You know, Egypt, the whole nation of Israel was in bondage. You know, the Assyrians, they put put the northern kingdom in bondage. Then the Babylonians put the southern kingdom in bondage. You know, but the modern day oppressor is the self-proclaimed white man. You know, for the most part. You know, the Egyptians, the Assyrians. You know, so like I said, these devils are trying to wait it out until shit blows over. You know, act like she gonna get back to normal, but you don't see none of these MAGA thumpers, MAGA hat. They probably in the shelf in their closet. Someone probably put it away in their closet, threw it, you know, threw it in the backyard, threw it in the garbage. These MAGA Trump supporters, you don't see none of them flaunting that hat around, man. You know, if he was doing what they thought he was going to do, what, make America great again, which was what, boosting the economy, you know, having things going back to normality, so to speak. They'd be wearing red hats, make America great hats, Trump hats all over here, man. Flags, we don't see none of that shit. What these MAGA supporters, man, with a flag, proud to be a Trump supporter. You don't see none of that shit out here, man. You know, these devils are trying to hide, like you know, more or less trying to ride the Democratic the obvious perverse Democratic wagon. We can hide behind this wagon for a little bit, and then when we see the damn wheels about to go off this, we're gonna jump on the fucking Republican bandwagon. You know, these devils and shit, man. You know, that's what they do. You know, Esau Edom. You know, I'm gonna read that. So this devil trying to pass these unrighteous decrees, which you taking away people's right to due process, taking away habeas corpus, which is a procedure by law, courtroom procedure. You're you taking away people's right. It's unrighteous, man. It's an unrighteous decree, man. You know, and that's what this devil is basically bringing about. You know, I lost my train of thought real quick. You know, so that's why they do. They settle for these weirdo lanes. You know, she doing what she doing anyway. This damn lane acting like he wanna have like a trophy or something. Everybody to form around. Goddamn lane and shit. I like, you know why I like it? Because he like homosexual and shit. He don't got his own taste. He into whatever you into. What you like, okay, that's what we supposed to like. From a straight homosexual and shit. You know? So these devils, yeah, that's what they try to do. They hop on the bandwagon. Whatever Republican Party is obvious has to be a part. That's why they hop on. And many Trump supporters, a lot of them, they regret voting for that guy, man. You know, he's doing what he's doing. I'm glad he's doing it, man. But now, where's your excuse? When you brought out, we've been saying that a lot. I say that a couple times. Where's your excuse? You know, because this devil is destroying the earth, the earth in the terms of countries. You know, it's basically bringing disturbance within these countries. These devils are destroying the earth. But anyway, he's bringing chaos bringing more chaos, adding more fuel to the fire, so to speak, man. You know, because he is literal, you know, according to our elders, what they brought out, because there's a such thing as reincarnation, and through the spirit, you know, from our elders, he's Nero reincarnated, you know, and I believe that too, you know, because the proof is there, you know, some magazine, they had that guy as Nero. Somebody drew a depiction one of these magazines around, famous magazines around here, drew a depiction of this guy Trump as Nero, which the elders been brought this out, man. You know, because there's a such thing as reincarnation. You know, so these devils, you know, they trying to hide themselves through witchcraft and sorcery, acting like they're the law abiders, they're the one to trust. You know, because the scripture says Satan himself had even transformed into an angel of light. You know, so these devils are trying to hide themselves and be looked at as some type of law-abiding peacekeeper, but that's all a facade, man. They're the top lawbreaker and the opposite of peace. Scripture says, "By peace shall destroy many." You know, that's Esau Edom. You know, so he's trying to come with all this peace talk. Y'all want peace? Stop this, stop that. But this devil is the creator of that. Of not having peace on earth, man. He's the one that created all this unpeaceful behavior, so to speak. So I'm gonna read it out of Isaiah chapter 10. You know, these plain clothes, that's how these damn fuck motherfucker ride up on you. Plain clothes. You know, they got these damn fucking coons. I mean, these damn piece of shit, red pieces of shit. They try to mimic shit, you know, because they hearing information through us. Because what these devils are doing, sitting back idly quiet, and whatever information you come across, they run with it and perpetrate shit. So you got these fake imitators around here perpetrating shit, you know, putting on the facade, because these devils, they can roll up on people in plain clothes. They don't have to identify themselves, I don't think. I mean, they do, but, you know, these devils run up on people, they run up on these citizens in plain clothes, just like regular citizens, so to speak. You know, so what these devils are doing. That's why I think, without a doubt, some damn punk ass Edomite wrote that Free Palestine on both of these fucking bitches here to cause some type of confusion, because we don't give a fuck about Palestine, the people in Palestine and what's happening there for the most part, man. But because they're not our people, you know, we are not Islam or none of that shit. But the fact of the matter of what he's doing over there, we'll bring that out, man. The truth of the matter of the situation we bring out.
Yeah,
we
didn't cause this war. They did. You know, so what we got to do with it? You know what I'm saying? We didn't cause this war. The war is not between us and them. Not that one. You know, we know there's spiritual warfare that's going on. That's evident. But I'm talking about this physical war between those two different nations. We have nothing to do with it. I'm not going to sit here and cheerlead for neither one of them. You know,
yeah, they both are heathens over there in the land of Israel. These Edomites, these Arabs, Ishmaelites, and the rest. They're in our land anyway. The Lord is gonna destroy them out of there. You know, burn them out of there, burn them out of that land. Man. Set fire to this place. You know, but I'm gonna go back to these unrighteous decrees. This guy, the Trump administration, trying to do away with the habeas corpus. Your right to due process is an unrighteous decree. I'm gonna read it out of the Amplified version. It says Isaiah 10:1. It says, "Woe, judgment is coming to those judges who issue evil statutes, and to those magistrates who constantly record unjust and oppressive decisions." Well, you know, the judge is ultimately the simple thing white man. So I'm gonna read it once again out of the King James version. NLT. I'm gonna read it out the NLT. It says, "What sorrow awaits the unjust judges and those who issue unfair laws." So So that's what they is, man. They trying to take away people's right. You got a right to know what you're being charged against.
Yeah, redress. You know,
So if this devil says he's gonna do away with habeas corpus, meaning they can snatch anybody up whenever they at a whim, they can just snatch you up and throw you in the detention. You ain't got a right to go be presented in front of a judge to see what's the charges, what's the legality, why you being detained. They trying to do away with habeas corpus, man. That's devil right to degree. You know, they got these weirdos, they popping all over the globe. They fly these weirdos in, and they already know what happened in this area. They try to just bring it over here. It worked. Look, it worked over here. Look, it's gonna work over here. It worked over there. Look, it's gonna work over here. That's what these fucking devils do, man. They practice the shit that they do. You know, all this shit that these fucking red bastards do, they practice that shit, man. You know, with these niggas, they tearing down the projects. That ain't something they trying to do for good. They seen it happen in another fucking city, one of these major cities. You know what happened? It increased the crime rate in the black community. So that's why they bring it to another area without the knowledge of you so-called Negroes, man. You don't know what the fuck going on, or they just tearing down the projects to try to build some new shit. What are you fucking roaches out of the projects? These nigga roaches out the projects. What they do? Scatter the other damn neighborhoods where they got enemies. They're enemies. What they call ops, whatever these damn niggas call each other, they scatter in their community. They scatter in their community, and then increase the crime rate, man. You know, they know these things, man. It's strategic. You know, this devil, he lays snares and traps, man. You know, the so-called white man, which is Esau. You know, he lays snares and traps for you, man. You think he's doing whatever he's doing for your benefit, you're mistaken, sadly. You know, like I said, that's what these devils do. They trying to dress in plain clothes. Now these devils, now they can do anything they want, and they can be justified, basically, man. Break the law and all type of shit. We can do whatever we want, and we justify these red fucking devils, man. So that's why misery and destruction is coming to America due to these devils, man. You know, what they're doing, how they running the world, man. You know, they're spying on people with their technology, you know, artificial intelligence. They got nanobots, nanotechnology and everything, even in you without your knowledge. You didn't consent to this. You motherfucker got device, eavesdropping devices, eavesdropping capability, MK Ultra, mind control. That's where these devices coming into, because this devil wants to control your way of thinking. You know, that's why these devils try to practice this shit everywhere, man. You know, they try to add that they know what you thinking, know what you into, they know everything about you. These devils. The book of Daniel, I mean, it's not in the book of Daniel. I think it's Isaiah, if I'm not mistaken, says, ye are wiser than Daniel. There's nothing that can hide from thee. You know, I think Isaiah says that, you know. So these devils, you can't hide anything from these devils, man. They got technology, you know, they got spies. When they sick of watching and listening to you, they got coon, ghetto informants watching you, you know. They go about their little fuck ass life and do some fuck shit, these fucking Edomites, you know. They got technology, they got cameras everywhere, you know, watching every move. If they want to single somebody out, they can. So technology, they said this turned into a police state. You know, that's all a part of the new world order, man. A police state, cameras everywhere, everything being surveyed. You know, this devil knowing everything about you,
yeah, every move you make.
you know.
You know what I mean? They're trying to legitimize stalking. He's being a legitimate stalker, man.
Right, just like I said, he can do anything and be justified. This devil can break the law, but he's justified, man. You know, by his law. He's the one that makes these laws. These devils, he's the one that makes these laws, man. self-proclaimed white man. So, you know, and also there was recently a mayor, what is this dude from? He was arrested for going to a detention center, man. He was a damn nigga. You know what I'm saying? And that's what this guy Stephen Miller said. Like I said, I'm gonna just say this too. I bring this out from time to time when I need to, but I encourage people to go and look up this guy David Goldberg. David Goldberg, Project Pogo and Project Zypher. You know, because basically that's what's going on, man. You know, Project Pogo, Project Zypher. You know, because this devil got operations, projects, plans, whatever for days, man. And what he do when it be exposed, he just tweak it. He'll tweak it. We can't go about it because it's been exposed, it's been revealed. We got to go about the plan a different way. We got to tweak it and make it different a little bit. So basically, the Project Pogo and Zypher, these motherfuckers, they trying to round people up. Like this guy talking about Project Zypher, you know, their ultimate plan is to round people up, round people off with the military and put people in these FEMA camps and detention centers, man. That's part of that plan. So he's just going about it, these doubles. And Trump is a part of that. He's talking about Trump being president, you know, in the memos, when Washington, White House memos, he's talking about Trump too. He's talking about his way, his you know, him being president is all a part of the plan. You know, he goes into that too. Now Trump being the president is part of the plan. It's in the White House memos that he go into. You know, they presented him with this information of being the president, and he accepted it, man. He said, "Yeah, I do." You know, they promised him some high status in the New World Order, him and his family. And he said, "Yeah, I'll take this role. I'll be your president." You know, that dude David Goldberg, which they deleted him because he revealed it. He said he's tired of it. He said this information everybody needs to know. You know, he said that people was watching him and this, that, and the third. And basically, that's what these Edomites do to each other when they expose the plans of the elite. Some way, these devils delete them. You know, now, that's what these devils is. They the bloody men, self-proclaimed white man, Esau. These Edomites, they are the bloody man on the face of the earth. They the ones that's shedding all this innocent blood. You know, you got these coon dope boys, dope dealers, old ass dope dealers and shit, like them niggas that was sitting on that goddamn bench. Old ass dope dealing ass fuck niggas and shit. Yeah, I remember my days. Niggas just sit on their ass, get a product from the white man. If they don't get it from the white man, the white man gave them an avenue that they could get it themselves. You know, like this fuck ass nigga. What is this nigga name? I can't think of this nigga name. American, I forgot what they call this fucking nigga. So he was flying planes. So yeah, nigga, cause you gonna be the scapegoat, nigga. My friend Lucas. Yeah, this nigga. You know what I'm saying? That fuck nigga. You know, any of these niggas they go to the source themselves. Yeah, nigga, they gave you that avenue because you gonna be the scapegoat, dumbass.
Somebody pointed out, man. They said them jokers, man, were snitches anyway, man. They were like, you know, they were little pawns, man. Like you said, they did they little get the little rocks out, but they were just a pawn on the board, man. You know what I'm saying? They was allowed to do that shit. You know what I'm saying? Because this guy, I forgot, he was mentioning these other people. He said, "Why you haven't heard about these people?" I mean, the people that he was naming, I didn't even hear it. He said, "But you always hear about these people because they want you to hear about them because they're pretty much, you know, either pawns in their little scheme or they're snitches. They make movies about them. You know, they make their name known."
Yeah, yes, lucky. But that's what Newark, New Jersey mayor, which he's a Negro. You know, they arrested this dude at some damn detention center, which they're gonna try to reinstate that. Like they trying to open back up. What is it? What's that prison? Alcatraz. They trying to reopen up Alcatraz, and I guess this facility here. in New Jersey, which at one point in time they was housing immigrants, but I guess they put it to a stop. Now they're gonna put that back into motion, basically. You know? So yeah, that's how these devils, these devils are. Even they arrested this dude, man. Talking about he was trespassing, which basically he was there on official business. He was there for some type of meeting, and the dude was claiming was people saying, I don't know the whole, people got other talk saying this is a publicity stunt or some shit they were trying to say it basically staged. But that's what be happening to these niggas, man. They got another nigga, slick back ass, hair ass nigga. I can't. He got some damn. He got some R&B singer name. I can't think of his name. But he's been arrested before too when Trump was first in office. They was peacefully protesting, which you're supposed to have a right to peacefully protest, but they arrested his dumb ass too, doing some peaceful protest. I don't know what he was doing, but during Trump first administration, he was arrested too. And then that's what this dude, Stephen Miller, said about the mayor of New York, which is Eric Adams. He said, "Yeah, if you want to stand in our way, you breaking the law. Basically, we're gonna do something to you too." So these niggas are headed in these sanctuary cities and shit. That lets you know you ain't got no say in it. Lets you know what the so-called white man, these Edomites. I don't give a fuck about your position. You ain't got no say, no sway, unless whatever I say, whatever I allow you to do, that's your say and sway. What I allow you to do. When you come against me, we're gonna show you who's in charge. So even they arrested this dude, which is a Negro, whatever his damn name is, Baraka. That's his last name. The mayor of Newark, New Jersey. Baraka's last name, Baraka. They arrested him, but he's out now. And that's what they do. Stephen Miller said, which I'm probably gonna play that. I'll probably play that clip. Like I said, they be informing these devils. They ain't really got to inform them because they watching anyway. They got, like I said, they got eavesdropping capability. These devils ain't gotta whisper and get yak they got their mouth about what you're doing. Because they listening anyway. These fucking Edomites, they listening anyway. Like I said, they got eavesdropping capability. They got devices that can eavesdrop on people, man. And if you go on a part of the system, you're a part of this system. You go on with this society, what's going, they acting like it's a benefit. You're trying to act like this damn shit is a benefit. It ain't to your benefit, man. That's what these devils want you to think. These devils want you to think this shit is to your benefit because you going along with the plan, you are no concern. So they act like, yeah, it's a benefit for you. That's them being the devil. Devil meaning deceiver, man. So the masses of these people, that's why they're gonna accept the mark of the beast anyway, which is the CHIP. So like John the Revelator saw, they see lines of people, numerous people lined up to receive this mark. That's what these people gonna do. They think it's a joke. They think it's a game. Some of them gonna be coerced into receiving it, forced. How I'm gonna feed my family, how I'm gonna continue in this society. Like I said, they got these low life Edomites on the act like, see, we got it under control because we are part of the shit too. We with the shit too. Local PI Edomites, we with the shit too. To basically fool the rest of these people, acting like they got some say or sway in the new world order. They ain't got no say and sway. They doing what the elites are allowing them to do. Because the elites don't care about these PI and the regular Edomites you see every day anyway. You got some of them trying to play in the background, acting like they know what's going on. All they doing is following procedure. Whatever information being handed down from them will ultimately came from the elites. Talking about these government regulations or whatever, man. Procedures, they ultimately come from the elites. They just following it. Say, oh, look what I got. Look what I know. Now I'm going to tell you, these regular Edomites, they ain't got no say or sway in the New World Order, man. You know, that's what this civil war issue is all about, man. Because some of them see it, some of them know it, and some of them just trying to be obviously delusional and obviously what is it called? Trying to can't think of that term I be bringing out sometimes. It's coming, it's not slipping my mind. You know, they got artificial intelligence. What they waiting on? They waiting to hear something. You know, these devils, because they don't think, they don't use their brains, man. You got artificial intelligence. Everybody's linked up to the cloud. You get information for free. As long as I'm linked up to the cloud, everybody linked up to the cloud. I just download, get artificial intelligence, you know. But I'm probably gonna play this clip of this guy Stephen Miller, which he talks about him too. This guy David Goldberg, and he brought up this information in 2019, I think, right before this pandemic started. He brought up either he was going into that. They're gonna release, you know what I'm saying, release, because they need to delete people because they got that Georgia Guidestone thing. They got a population number that they trying to accomplish. They got to minus people out. You understand? You can read between the lines. They got to minus people out, and they only got a certain amount of people they want to be inhabited the earth. You know, so this sickness, that was a part of it. That thing that happened. He goes into that, man. Like I said, I encourage you to look up this guy David Goldberg. You know, you might have to go on a different, might have to use another search engine, because Google, they got some regulations on Google, and they try to shadow ban information. You know, so they shadow ban information. Google, you know, the devil. You know, you probably got to use another search engine. But the guy David Goldberg, Project Pogo, Project Cypher goes into all that, man. Trump, that sickness that they came out with. They watching people accounts on YouTube. Whoever's giving out this truthful information, you know, they got pawns out there that give truthful information to track you people who's liking videos, so they can round you people up, man. Into what basically they going into these immigrants right now. But what they saying too is they even getting United States citizens, man. So everybody else is supposed to be a quote unquote United States citizen too. You know, so they saying they're rounding up United States citizens that don't even got criminal records, and they rounding them up too. So some people are aware, man. Some people are aware of what's going on. You know, some people think they're gonna ride it out. You know, prep. You know, but even these preppers are talking about people are just gonna take matters into their own hands, because a lot of people are not prepping. I know this prepper. He said he's not the only one. He went into he saw that many people wasn't prepping. He said some guys are not going to prep. They're going to go out there and take what they need. You know, these different militia groups, they not prepping. They're going to go out there and take, which is all written in the Bible, man. All prophecy. You know. So going back to this guy Stephen Miller, because he said something about that dude, the mayor of I don't know, commercial about to come up. Mayor of New York says basically, you want to stand in our way, we got something for you, basically, man.
Well, the Constitution is clear, and that, of course, is the supreme law of the land, that the privilege of the writ of habeas corpus can be suspended in a time of invasion. So it's an option we're actively.
He's saying that the Constitution is the supreme law of the land, But under the Constitution, the habeas corpus can be suspended if the country is invaded. So I guess they deeming the country is being invaded. Why? Through these immigrants. So these immigrants are invading the country. So now I guess they got the right to suspend the habeas corpus, man.
Well, the Constitution is clear, and that, of course, is the supreme law of the land, that the privilege of the writ of habeas corpus can be suspended in a time of invasion. So I would say that's an option we're actively looking at. Look, a lot of it depends on whether the courts do the right thing or not. This administration is going to pursue immigration enforcement and cooperation in every city. And anyone who doesn't comply with the laws and dictates of this country will face the appropriate legal consequences. That applies to Eric Adams, and that applies to every other mayor in this country. The law is the law is the law.
So the law is the law is the law. You talking about, yeah, you want to stand in the way? I want to stand in the way of this deportation. You're going to face the consequences, man. And that's all scriptures too. 2 Ezra chapter 15, I think, tells you about that. So I'll read it out the Good News translation, man. So this double, like I said, they write these laws. So we're looking at the law, looking at the Constitution. The Constitution is supreme law of the land. The Constitution is supreme law of the land, as long as it forwarded his agenda, man. Which they doing away with that. You're supposed to have the right to freedom of press, right to Second Amendment of right, guns. You got a right to protest, but what they're doing with that, the Constitution is only the supreme law of the land when it benefits their agenda.
And also, like they try to say the Constitution is the supreme law of the land, right? But what about all these treaties that's on the books that they violated? Over 500 treaties they violated with the so-called American Indian, which is actually a nation of Gad. All these treaties that they violated, still on the books right now. They're not honoring it. It's only for if it benefits them. They also, like these terms that a lot of people use. Somebody was bringing a light, like this word willy-nilly. You don't realize that term came from these devils breaking treaties. They say they can break treaties willy-nilly. These devils. But according to the Constitution, they're supposed to uphold all treaties, man. But have they done it? Are they doing it? No, man. Or it's not beneficial for them, or it's not beneficial for their agenda, man. It just make you people feel at ease. See, it's right there. Yeah, that's what we are. That's what we do.
The law abiders.
That's why we the good guys. That's why we where we are.
Yeah, that's why this civil war is gonna break out, because a lot of them they see the bullshit, man. They see what's going on. They listen to these government officials. They assume that they elect. They see what they're saying. A lot of them are seeing. That's why civil war is deemed to break out, man. It's gonna happen. Civil unrest. So this is the Apocrypha chapter. This is out of the Apocrypha. 2 Ezra chapter 15, verse 14. It says, "The world and the people in it are doomed. The war that will bring their destruction is very near. Nations will arm themselves and fight against other nations. There will be great political turmoil, with one group trying to overpower another and gain control, while ignoring the legitimate government." Right? While ignoring the legitimate government. The Constitution is the supreme law of the land, but you're going to be people at odds. Because like I said, these devils are going to use the law according to how their agenda is going. Now the Constitution is the supreme law of the land, because I got a plan to do something. We're looking into suspending the habeas corpus because our land is being invaded by aliens. China, Russia, you name it, man. Arabs. Who they rounded up? These Latinos. They making sure they rounding their ass up. They round the fuck out of these Latinos, man. Get your ass out of there. Trying to say you are terrorists, gang bangers, drug dealers, rapists. You know, which they already got all these people here. That's why Trump's talking about the homegrown criminals. We got to deal with the homegrown. So what you think he's talking about, man? He's primarily talking about you Negroes and these militia groups, these damn Edomites. He's talking about their ass too. But he's putting an emphasis, just like he did the Latinos. He's gonna put an emphasis on you Negroes, man. You know, he's gonna come get your ass most definitely. He's gonna have a reason. You know, we got to deal with the homegrown criminals. You know, the homegrown terrorists. So this devil, you know, he's gonna issue these unrighteous decrees, and the scriptures also talk about Daniel chapter 8, verse 25. It says, "Through his policy, he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand." Man. So I'm gonna just read. I'm gonna read Isaiah 10 and 1 again. Continue reading it. It says Isaiah 10 and 1. It says, "Woe to them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed, to turn aside the needy from judgment, and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless." Right? And what will ye do in the day of visitation, in the day of desolation, which shall come from far? To whom will you flee from help, and where will ye leave your glory? You know, so who these devils gonna flee for help when the Lord visits, which he's already doing, man. He's visiting this place. They were just saying about there was some earthquakes happening. I seen an article popped up. They said in this city here they were talking about earthquakes. They just said in I think Georgia, Tennessee, North Carolina, there was some earthquakes. There was an earthquake happening. There was an earthquake happening just recently, man. There was a couple earthquakes being felt in Tennessee, North Carolina, I think in Georgia, if I'm not mistaken. I know North Carolina and Tennessee. And in this city right here that we in Virginia, they said there was an earthquake, man. So the Lord said these things gonna happen, man. Wars, rumors of wars. Just recently, what is it? Pakistan and India is going to war with each other. Pakistan and India, man. So Pakistan and India going to war with each other. The Lord said these things going to happen, man. Wars and rumors of wars, earthquakes in those places. It's just like you said, nation against nation. Nation, that's a two different nations that are going against each other. You know. I got a precept. This is a book of Psalms 15 and 2. It says, "Yea, in heart ye work wickedness, ye weigh the violence of your hands in the earth." Man. That's what they do, man. Their mind, they work wickedness, man. In their mind, they're working wickedness, man. You weigh the violence of your hands in the earth, man. They go throughout the earth, what? Causing violence, man. These wars, like they were saying, which is a known fact. The United States holds the title for what? Military occupation on a global scale, man. They're occupied in other people's territories, but if somebody else, other country come over here and set up a military base, they're like, it won't happen. You know why? Because they're deemed them an invader. You just invaded us. We've been invaded. But they can go to other countries, set up a military base, U.S. embassy, occupied, you know,
territories, and everything's all good, man.
And going back to these immigrants over here, this is by design, man. Talking about because the elites are causing these things to happen, man. You know, these predators talking about these immigrants coming over here. This is by design, because the wicked runs the world. Talking about the elite bankers of Edom, you know, the nations of Edom. You know, they run the world, man. So they cause these events to happen, these wars, these events, you know, that affect everything, affect everybody around the globe, affect countries. They give that decision, that decision, man. You know, these elites, they give that decision, man. You know, so these events that happen in the world are orchestrated by the elites, basically, man. These major events, man. You know, and these immigrants coming over here, which they start saying they are invaders, that was orchestrated by the elites of Edom. You know, so I'm gonna read this out of Daniel 8:25. It says, "And through his policy, also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand." Right. So through his policies, his laws that he created, right? You know, he said we can suspend the habeas corpus because the country's being invaded, right? So he can round you up. We just went into what habeas corpus is, basically to do away with due process, man. We ain't got to bring you in front of a judge to see what kind of crimes are you are facing. You know, we're being invaded. You know, and this is by design. You know, because this devil got an agenda. The agenda is one world government, new world order, man. So he's gonna go about it how he deems he needs necessary. And all these devils got in their hand is time for the most, you know, not for the most part, so to speak, because their time is running out. That's why they're moving fast with this thing, man. All these devils did have time on their hand, and that's all they do, guys. Time, which is running out. You know, that's why these devils are like the scripture said, they know his time is short. So these devils are coming down with great wrath. You know, he's gonna say whatever he needs to say, he's gonna paint whatever picture, the narrative, to fool the masses of you people. Because that's what a lot of these people are. They're fooled. They're foolish, man. You know, because they don't know what's going on. They're not watching. With the scriptures, the Lord said, watch these things that's going on in the earth. You know, the Lord said, watch. You know, so it won't come upon you as a thief. You know, that's what's going to come upon a lot of these people, man. The day of the Lord will come as a thief to these people, man. This is First Thessalonians 5:2. It says, let me see. First Thessalonians 5:1. It says, "But of the times and the seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you. For yourself know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night." So that's how it's gonna come upon these people, man. They don't want that. It's like a thief, man. If you knew a thief was coming, you would have been watching, watching out, and hey man, thief might they walking around like they ain't nothing to be worried about. The land of what is the scripture says, land of pleasure. People coming and going around carelessly. I think they tell you that Ezekiel 38. Ezekiel 37, I think. That's the land that these people walk around carelessly, just living in pleasure, you know. But the day of the Lord is going to come like a thief in the night, man. You know.
I got a precept in the book of Luke 12:39. It says, "And this note that if the good man of the house had known what hour the thief would come, he would have watched and not have suffered his house to be broken through. So you got to watch as well as pray, man. So the Lord gave us signs to watch for, man. And we're watching, we're seeing, we're looking at the Lord's work, man, or everything that's going on, regardless of how you people perceive it, is done by the Lord. The Lord said these things shall happen, man. We see these things happening clear as day, which are his signs, man. You know, and that's what we're doing, man. The Lord has set watchmen in the house of Israel. We are watching for the coming of our Lord and Savior, man. Repeat that again, the book of Luke 12 and 39. And this know that if the good man of the house had known what hour the thief would come, he would have watched and not have suffered his house to be broken through. So yeah, man, so that's what we're watching, man. We're watching for the Lord, watch as well as praying for what? Mercy and salvation, man. You know, the elect of Israel is going to obtain that, man.
I'm going to continue reading our second, 1 Thessalonians 5 and 3. It says, for they shall say, I'll read it again, verse 2, it says, for yourself know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction come upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. They're gonna scream peace, peace. Yeah, it's all right, everything's good. Just do what I tell you. You know, follow what do what I tell you to the ways of the new world order. Follow what I tell you, man. Just do what I say, you'll be okay. Basically, that's what these Edomites gonna say. They're gonna think, do what I say, you'll be okay. Yeah, follow instructions, follow the law. This is the law.
They want obedience, man.
Get you a microchip, which is the mark of the beast. Get you a microchip.
Obedience. Bow down to me. Do as I say. Obey. That's what they want. That's what they're looking for.
You know, so that's what these devils gonna say, man. Peace and safety, man. You know, just like it says in Daniel chapter 8 and 25, by peace you shall destroy men. I'm gonna just read that again and just read the whole verse. So that's what this devil's gonna do. He's screaming peace. By peace he's gonna destroy men. This is Daniel chapter 8 and 25. It says, through his policy also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. He shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without hand. You know, so by peace he shall destroy many, right? You know, so this devil is going to scream out peace and safety. You know, the sudden destruction is going to come ultimately by what? Those nuclear missiles, right? That's when the sudden destruction is ultimately going to come, man. Like I said, these bad Edomites around here, they want people to think these devils and their devices, especially simple bitches, they think it's for their benefit. You know, these witches, simple ass bitches. They think this shit is for their benefit because they're following Esau, the whole world wandereth after the beast. So they're following the ways of these devils and this technology, artificial intelligence, these microchips, nanobots, nanobits, these weirdos and lames and losers of society, lame losers and fucking weirdos of society. Now we gotta now we got a state claim what's going on. They got these weirdos moving from all over the goddamn, all over Babylon to this place here, trying to fit in, man. What I need to do to fit in. All they do is sitting idly quiet, try to catch on to what's going on and follow that wave. That's all they doing. What's going on? Just follow. Like the scripture said, like sheep to the slaughter. That's what these people are, man. Sheep being headed, being led to the slaughter, man. They don't know what's going on. All they doing is seeing what's going on in this fuck ass society and following. Okay, this is what's going on. Just follow. Following Esau, Edom to destruction, man. These devils, man. They following their oppressor to destruction. The Lord said he's destined these Edomites to be destroyed, man. You following them, that is where you're going to be led into destruction along with them. You know, I said they try to use this technology as some type of major benefit. You know, this is a major benefit in society, this technology. Artificial intelligence, merging man with machine. Everybody is merged together through the cloud by technology, by devices and shit. Everybody is what is called the Internet of Things. Everybody's connected through the cloud. You know? He's making man in it. He making man into his own image. You know? So you know this is where society is headed, man. You know, he's got to make these laws and rules to put his plan forth. He got to fool people. Like I said, through peace, he shall cause craft to prosper. That word craft is treachery. You know, I mean, through his policies, like he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand. That word craft going to treachery. You know, so that's deceit. That word treachery means deceit. He's deceiving you people by his laws. You got to follow the law. You got to follow what I say. I'm gonna make ways around. I can break the law. The law is only supreme if the Constitution is only supreme if it's forward and meeting my agenda. So he's causing these invaders to come in. He's already caused what they call engendering terrorism. That guy Noam Chomsky, some type of college professor. You know, that's where I got the term from him. Engendering terrorism, meaning that he's going over to these other countries and killing these people. Now these people want revenge. Basically, that's what it is. He's killing these people. Now these people want revenge. He's killing these people. Now these people want revenge. He's engendering terrorism. Now you got these invaders from other countries. The Middle East, what they call Africa, India, Russia, China, all over the globe, they all come in here. Now we can say this: we are being invaded. Your right to due process is no longer in effect because the Constitution is not part of the New World Order. Due process, more or less, is a part of the Constitution. But we're going to suspend the Constitution or suspend habeas corpus because we're being invaded. That's what the Constitution says. But they're going to declare martial law, man. And once they do that, that's going to automatically suspend all these people here in Babylon, all these Babylonians' rights. Man. Once they declare martial law, that's what he's trying to do. On this word, I'm going to go back today. 8:25 on that word. On that word craft.
Strong's page 4820.
So that's the Hebrew word for milmah. How we pronounce it, right? That's how he pronounce it. It says outline of biblical uses. It says deceit. It says treachery. All right. You go to the root word of it. It's pronounced the same way. It says Ramah. You go down. It says to beguile, deceive, mislead, deal treacherously, man. So he's going to mislead you with these policies these laws basically that he's going to put into effect. And ultimately, what he's going to make mandatory is the mark of the beast, which is the CHIP, which is going to ultimately lead to these people's destruction, which I just read out of First Thessalonians chapter 5. When they shall say peace and safety, the sudden destruction shall come upon them. The sudden destruction shall come upon them, man. And they shall say peace and safety, man. So ultimately, that sudden destruction is going to be those nuclear missiles, you know. So this devil's gonna that's what he's showing. Ultimately, he's seeking martial law, suspension of habeas corpus, basically convert whatever. He found a loophole around the posse comitatus, which, you know, I didn't really go thoroughly into that. I heard of that before, the Posse Comitatus Act, but they said basically the same thing. They said the military is not to be used as the police on U.S. soil except in national emergencies, you know. So there's an exception to that law. So they used military during the civil rights era. You know, they had a National Guard escort black kids to school. So that was a form of using the military as the police. So so basically, like I said, the martial law, that's basically what his goal is, to bring in martial law for whatever reason, man. So they can do away with the Posse Comitatus Act because there's an exception, national emergency. So they can deem anything a national emergency. You know, breakout, some type of pandemic breakout, national-wide famine, rioting and chaos in the street, you know, anarchy. So there's multiple ways they can go about to bring about martial law, man. You know, because that like I said, you know, because I ain't going to that law thoroughly, you know, but you know. But he said they can do it. They can they can do away with it, get around or find a loophole in the Posse Comitatus Act if it's a national security. So they calling these people that's coming across the border. That's why they put a military base on the southern border between America and Mexico, because they more or less saying these people that's coming through there are invaders. And it's a form of national security that we need the military on these bases. We need a military base here, and we can use the military as a form of police on the military base to do away with to get around or circumvent, found a loophole in the Posse Comitatus Act.
Yeah, they know all about these loopholes, man. They're the one that create these so-called laws and policies, man. You don't think they know what they call a backdoor, another way around? You know, they're presenting you, make it look all good. They got another way to, like the Ox said, circumvent that policy, man. You know, like these rights that you people have, they're not concrete, man. They have the power, which we, you know, been speaking on this topic, you know, frequently. They have policies where they can appeal, amend, you know, change these so-called constitutional statutes, and so there's procedures they can go about by changing or amending these rights, policies, and procedures, whatever you want to call it. They can amend them. They can repeal, replace. You know. So yeah, man. This is all a game that this devil is pretty much orchestrated, where, especially this society right here, but for them to benefit. You know what's going on now, because we know it's that quiet. It's quiet. What you call that? Quiet before the storm. They allow you people to feel like, accepted, gentrification, all this crap. You see, like I said, I've been looking around, driving around these neighborhoods. When I was coming up, there's only one type of people you would see once you ride around. But now I'm looking at, I'm knocking on these doors of these houses. When you open the door, you expect this certain person, like that movie Friday, where that the mailman, the white, he's a comedian. I forgot his name. The so-called white guy knocked on the door. He said,
he J's too.
Yeah, he knocked on the door and said, "Oh, I ain't expect to see you here." That's exactly how I felt when I knocked on this neighborhood. When I went to this neighborhood and knocked on the door, and there was a so-called black face that I saw. That's exactly how. That's in my mind. That's exactly what I was saying. I said, I ain't expect to see you. I ain't expect you to answer the door. I was thinking, was you the butler, you the maid? Because that's the type of neighborhood that these people lived in. So, they're allowing these people to live next to them because they know things going to go. Because that's what these devils want. They want things to go back like the fabulous 50s. They were lynching. They would mob up and lynch any damn nigga or anybody they wanted to with minimal consequences. That's what they long for, man. So that right now they're tolerating you people because they know ultimately it's going to lead over to a spillover, to an all out riot, chaos that's coming, man. Because just like the ox said, the Bible, the scriptures, the Lord told us these things will happen, man. Another thing why these devils doing it, they know they hear this truth and they think they can upset the Lord's. This ain't coming from men, even though we're vessels that are being used by the Heavenly Father. But this is the Lord's work, man. This is the Lord's word. This is the Lord's work and His word, man. What's going on right here between us? What we're doing, this is the working of the Lord, man. And the things that we say is what the Lord deems to happen, not us. We don't have our hand on the nuclear missile. We don't own a numerous army. We don't own artillery, but they think because we speak these truths, we're the ones that's dictating. No, we're telling you who's ultimately dictating it is Yahweh Shah, but we're telling you who's doing what, man. Who is who and what is what, for the most part. That's all through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shah, man. And what I meant to say is the reason why these devils, they're playing the way they are because they want to upset, they're trying to upset prophecy because these men, they see men appear speaking the truth about it. And they want to act contrary. That's why they got their coons living beside them in these neighborhoods, jobs, act like they all get along, act like there's a big high school now. Now it's their chance to act like I could be the popular kid at high school now, these jobs. These motherfuckers washed up, ain't shit, and ain't nobody thinking about them, but they still playing these childish games, man. When in reality, they try to treat individual. I was going into this off the subject, but I was going into it. Well, I was looking at a video where this other so-called black guy was going into. He said that's what these people have on the jobs, man. Especially these supervisors. They have narcissistic personalities, man. They're narcissists, man. They know what he was saying. He said they know you got to keep you. They know you have to have a job, and they're feeding for what power, man. You know, how to enforce their power, man. Pretty much manipulate you and control you because of their job title, man. He said the word that defines them, they're narcissists, man. And a lot of these Edomites and these so-called Negroes around here, they're allowing the management pick up that character trait too, man. Some of them just as bad, even more, you know. Yeah, they're narcissists, man.
Bring out another precept. This is Second Ezra, still in the book of Second Ezra, chapter 16. It says, "Behold, the plagues draw nigh and are not slack." So I'm gonna just read to start at verse 19. It says, "Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for men. But for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges." It says, "Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth, that they shall think themselves in good case. And even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion." Because shit, they talking about the store shelves are going to be empty. People are making videos of how the price of groceries are still going up. You know, due to these tariffs. There's got these cargo shipments. The goddamn shipping. Yeah, cargo ships. They got all these containers coming from China. These other folks, most definitely China. They are basically. China's not sending their cargo ships over here, man. So they said that's gonna lead to shortages of all goods, man. You know,
Because a lot of stuff is made in China, man. These dolls, like Trump, he was on news. He said, other than rather than children having, I'm just saying one. I think he said like 30 dolls this Christmas. He said maybe two, because the shelves are not going to be as stock plentiful.
said 2, 3, maybe 5. You know, like 5 dogs. You don't need 100 dogs. You know, because basically they're gonna be a shortage on everything. This guy was saying something about appliances like air fryers. They're gonna be extremely hot. They're gonna be a shortage of these things, man. So that's what the Lord talking about. You know, these people think because at one point in time you go to the Dollar Tree and buy some dollar food, buy some food for $1. Go to McDonald's. Got a dollar menu. You know, you think everything's good, man. I can still get some food for a little bit of money. Prices are still going up, man. They got certain areas that they prioritize over other areas. They got certain states they prioritize over other states too. A lot of people don't know. In certain states, that's why people, whatever, man. They prioritize certain things. They prioritize these resources in certain states due to how Esau have things constructed. You know, so a lot of these other states, they're gonna feel the crunch of famine quicker and harder than other states. Through how Esau has things built up in America. You know, so these devils think they suffer a good case. They want to sit around and follow behind the devil, and like everything's a joke. Everything's fun and games until there's nobody left. till there's nobody laughing, they're gonna see like everything fun and games and shit. You know, so that's what they're gonna do. Follow these devils all the way to destruction. Man. I'm gonna read it again. This is Second Ezra, chapter 16 and 19. It says, "Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for a minute. But for all these things, they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges." It says, "Behold, visuals, which is food. Visuals are food, is your food. Visuals shall be so good cheap upon earth that they shall think themselves to be in good case. And even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. For many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy, and the dead shall be cast out as dung. And there shall be no man to comfort them, for the earth shall be wasted, and the cities shall be cast down." So that's what's going to happen, man. Well, these are prophecies, man. Sword, tribulation, and anguish, pestilence is only going to increase, man. You know, I think Second Ezra chapter 6. This is Second Ezra chapter 6. Second Ezra chapter 6 and 17. It says, "And it happened that when I have heard it, I stood upon my feet and hearkened, and behold, there was a voice that spake, and the sound of it was like the sound of many waters," which is the Lord Yahweh Shah speaking to the prophet Ezra. Right? And that says, "And it said, Behold, the days come that I will begin to draw nigh and to visit them that dwell upon the earth, and I will begin to make inquisition of them, what they be that have hurt unjustly with their unrighteousness, and when the affliction of Zion shall be fulfilled, and when the world that shall begin to vanish away shall be finished, then will I show these tokens. The books shall be opened before the firmament, and they shall see all together." So that's the books are being opened. That's what's going on now. Like the books are being opened, means it's the understanding. The Lord Yahweh Shah is bringing the understanding, and the books are being opened before the firmament. That's why you got the World Wide Web, and these videos are being up, and it's being shown all throughout the earth, man. You know, the books are being opened before the firmament. You know, that's the World Wide Web. These live videos and these videos that we put up in general. You know, It says, and the children of a year old shall speak with their voices, and the women with child shall bring forth untimely children for 3 or 4 months old, and they shall live and be raised up. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, and the full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. That's your grocery store. That's why they talking about empty shelves, man. The sown places, which is your grocery stores, food distribution stores, you know, wherever you can find food, goods, necessities, all that shit gonna be dried up, man. You know, that's what the Lord is doing with these with these tariffs that Trump is bringing about. You know, so he's causing the store shelves to be empty, man. You know, these devils are deceiving you and making you think everything's good. It's all a joke. It's all a game. Just wait it out. Wait the shit blows over. Wait the shit blows over. Wait the shit blows over and everything will get back to normal. You know? But it's not gonna get back to normal. It's not gonna get any better. You know, like I said it before. And I'm glad that dude Trump in the office, man. There's no excuse. Because if he wasn't in office, everything's gonna go according to prophecy anyway. And they would have said we needed him in office, man. Since this guy's in office, now they have no excuse, man. You know? So this devil's in office. Now where's their excuse? Where are all these MAGA thumpers and supporters at? You don't see none of that. No Trump supporter flags, no banners outside people's house, no Trump hats, none of that shit. You know?
Got anything else? We'll close it out. All right, we'll close our lesson out. Before we do, want to give all praises, honor, and glory to
Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rakakadash,
It's your Akim and Trilazil, brother, and Lord willing, we'll be back to feed the flock. Till next time, Shalom, Barakatah, and Baba Shalom.